Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. We got to talk about the XRP lawsuit. And Brad Garlinghouse has joined the big chorus saying that there's pretty much a 0% chance of settlement. And the quote, this was from an interview at Davos, which, Garlinghouse and Ripple and several other crypto companies were at. And quote, from the actual interview, the problem here is SEC Chair, Gary Gensler. This is from Daily Hold, but this is the actual quote from the interview. The problem here is SEC under Chair Gary Gensler has articulated a view that all crypto is a security. The only way that Ripple would settle, and I've said this at the very beginning, the only way we would settle is if there's clarity that XRP is not a security on a go-forward basis. And then this is the key here. The Venn diagram for settlement, I think, is 0, so we're going to end up letting the judge decide. That is the key there. So 0% chance for settlement. And he actually thinks that they'll hear for the judge in early 2023, but you really don't have any control over when a judge makes their decisions. And he's optimistic that it is coming in the single number digit months. Now, from other articles, I've heard that it was since June. But the thing is, originally I thought the decision was going to come by March. So it seems like it's been pushed back a bit. I do think the judge can actually push it back even more. And the thing is, we don't, like Brad Garlinghouse says, we don't really know when the judge is going to make a decision. And remember, this is a circuit court decision. So this is a circuit court decision. So it can be appealed, and both parties, whichever one loses, will appeal. Now, there have been rumors that Ripple is making preparations to move outside the United States. I don't think that really says they think they're going to lose the case. Now, obviously, in front of the cameras and in public, they're going to be like, we're very confident, but they're probably doing mental calculus in their heads behind the scenes, and they know the chance of winning is not at 100%. But I don't think that means that they're actually going to lose. I think they have to be prepared for all scenarios as a business, and they can prepare to move outside the United States if XRP is deemed a security in the United States. Now, that will be pretty bad because their main market is remittances and money transfers. That means they'll be locked out of the United States and possibly out of USD, and they'll be locked out of China because China doesn't allow cryptocurrencies. So the thing is, those are the two biggest markets because the Southeast Asian region, basically, the biggest remittance receiver would be China, and obviously in the Americas it'd be the United States, from Mexico, Central America, even South America. So you'd be locked out of the two biggest markets if that actually happens. I mean, you're locked out of China anyways, but you could be locked out of the United States as well. But having said on that, at Davos, China has actually unveiled their own system of SWIFT using DLT, stablecoins, and CBDCs. So it's a system that's not based on any of the technology that of any of these blockchains, and it only works with CBDCs and stablecoins. And this is going to be China's version of SWIFT, only it's DLT right now. So they're not using XRP or XLM or XDC or anything. They're just using CBDCs and stablecoins to transact. And it's their version of SWIFT because they don't want to be completely crippled when SWIFT, places sanctions on China, obviously. So that's where we are right now. And I don't think this is going to be used in the Americas or in Europe or in Australia. But I think China actually has enough economic power to actually force Southeast Asia to actually use this, at least on a part-time basis. And maybe Africa as well, because that China has huge investments in Africa, so they might actually eventually use this as well. So I think the future of money transfer and remittances will actually be broken up into regions, whereas China might actually dominate their regional area. Obviously, the United States is going to dominate the Americas. Then Europe has their own thing. Australia has their own thing, which is probably connected to the Americas. And Africa, I'm not exactly sure what they're going to use. I don't think the infrastructure is quite there yet. So that's kind of where it is. Yes, is it a threat to Ripple? Maybe. I mean, I think it's only a threat in Southeast Asia. I don't think it's a threat anywhere else because I don't think countries trust China. Other countries will trust China enough to actually use this system that basically is a SWIFT and RippleNet competitor. But that's the other thing. They're unveiling all these things at Davos. And what they're really doing is it looks like they needed time to actually come up with all these systems to compete with, like Ripple or Stellar. And maybe that's Gary Gensler's plan all along, just to delay until all these things are in place. So, Ripple is kind of obsolete or not necessary, and people don't really have to depend on them. And if that's the actual plan, well, then they're succeeding with flying colors. And I think, the Western countries will probably have their own system as well. Europe has played around with R3 and a lot of other things as well. I'm not really sure what Australia is doing, but there's like CBDC testing. Like Swift is launching, Swift Go, Swift Instant, all this other stuff that does sort of the same thing, like instant settlements. So we'll have to see how all this actually works. But it could be the strategy is just delay. And, like whichever side wins, like I said, the other side's going to appeal, and that could take a couple more years. So, like you're really losing your technology edge there in terms of like a crypto that can actually transfer money from like a one bank to the other. And so the thing is, like, I'm glad Flare launched because you can actually get projects with smart contracts in XRP now. Maybe the ecosystem will actually grow. I kind of doubt it, but it is actually possible right now. So, that's kind of where the situation is right now. Brad Garlinghouse basically says that he doesn't think a settlement is possible. He's predicting first half of this year, but that can be changed because he did say like he doesn't really know when the judge will actually render its decision. He doesn't know what the decision will be, but he's optimistic, obviously. He's ready to move outside the United States if it doesn't turn in Ripple's favor. And yeah, generally, that's actually where we're at right now. So basically, if the SEC strategy is just a delay, they're succeeding with flying colors. You have this solution by China to dominate Southeast Asia, and you probably have other systems coming up in other places around the world. And basically, if it takes 2 or 3 more years, you're definitely going to lose a lot of that competitive edge. But that's kind of how it's going. I still hope Ripple wins because the altcoin market needs it. I personally wouldn't mind if it like got delayed a couple more years just so we can have one more altcoin bull run at least until they decide it, because I don't want them to decide it right now and it affects like every single altcoin out there. That would be pretty bad. And plus, like, Congress definitely has people that are more pro crypto, and the CFTC seems to still want everything to be a commodity because they actually have tapped someone from Stellar to actually serve kind of like on their board. So that's where we are right now. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Let me know what you think about this video and what you think and how you think it's actually going to play out. So that's it. So have a nice day, and I will see you next time.